There's so much conversation nowadays about trauma and stored trauma and how it ends up in disease and how you're taking on the trauma of other generations that are being passed down to you. And finally, we're having a conversation about how it's not taboo to say, oh, well, not. I mean, I'll tell you a personal situation for me. Anytime I ever spoke to my parents, anytime, it was always, oh no, everything's fine, everything's going great, this is happening, this is happening. And then later you find out, no, like this person's sick, we have this type of problem, and you find it out way too late, when you can't really do anything about it, right? What if we normalized, hey, you don't agree with something, let's have a conversation, and you know what, we may agree to disagree, but I'm not gonna then hold that against you every single time, because it's something in a moment in time. And then you're going to change as an individual, right? Because I'm going to give you the perspective. And if you really feel, hey, I value you and you're not in agreement with me, guess what? I'm going to explain my why. I'm going to say, this is why I'm doing this. And if it still doesn't connect with you, then it's a deeper conversation. But it never gets to that point, right? Us as individuals, we don't give our leaders the opportunity to do that either, right? When I start my conversations with people and I say, a manager doesn't become a manager because he wants a better paycheck and more time off. That's not what happens, right? That happens much later in your career. But the first time you make that jump from being an individual contributor to a manager, you work twice as hard and you get paid half of what you get paid as an individual contributor, right? So you sacrifice because you want to lead other people and you want to be the person that can orchestrate, and you want, right? You have to give, you, as much as you want your leader to set you up for success, you have to set your leader up for success too.
Yeah.
Right? So if you don't tell them what's wrong, if you don't tell them that they're doing a bad job, if you don't how are they going to be better for you?
Yeah.
And it's sad, but it's the truth. The higher you go, the more alone you are, right? And you really don't have a lot of people that tell you, hey, are you okay? Right? I had a leader, a manager that I'm working on a project with that is about to open a hotel, and it's the GM, and the GM and I have become very good friends. And the first thing I ask her is, how are you? And then she says, I'm great. No, how are you really? Because I know a lot of people don't ask you.
Yeah.
But I know you're asking them all the time, So it would be great if we could normalize that, right? That it's a two-way street always,